So I'm in a hotel room in Korea, in Seoul, where amongst other things, I gave a talk about the book. And here's a copy of it. It's finally out and available. So this is of course, an advert. Please go and buy the book. Um, During the time in Korea, one of the delights is getting to try a whole range of new forms of food. I've seen so many different things over the last few days. Things with very, to me, strange textures, strange colours, interesting shapes. Some I had to use chopsticks, some I had to use deep spoons, others I had to slurp. It was a full on sensory experience. Now, when we use our mobile phones, our touch screens, our glass cased views into another world, our senses aren't really engaged to any great extent. For sure, we have a rich visual um, presentation. But that's just like looking through those models of food that you might have seen in Chinatowns all around the world, where there are bits of plastic in a bowl and you look through the restaurant window. Not very similar to the actual experience of walking through that door of that street restaurant and feeling the vibrancy of the steam, the tanginess of the tastes, the viscerality, the smells that hit your nose. We really do use very few of our senses when we look down into our mobile devices. We also use quite limited tools, really, or implements to taste the food that is being delivered up from our screens. It's as if we only ever had chopsticks, or we only ever had a fork. We simply grab and pinch and prod. So here's a question really for you to think about when you're designing for current day mobile devices. How can you engage your user's senses more richly? How could you fuse what you're putting on the visual screen with perhaps the vibro-tactile feedback or some audio, or maybe by getting the user to look around at a certain point so that their senses can take in an experience around the world which could be fused with that on the screen? And how could you perhaps extend the vocabulary of interaction so that when you are touching the screen, think of picking up different types of food? Not all data is the same, just like not all food is the same. Not all content's the same, just like the Korean dishes that I see here are very different to the dishes I might get back at home in Wales. So what implements do we need to eat of that plate, which is your touch screen? And then jumping ahead a bit further to the future, what could you imagine happening to the interface and the interaction devices that you have? What would make your systems richer in terms of the way in which they can address the senses around someone? Go off and think, design, change the world. Oh yeah, don't forget, have a look if you could buy the book. It's available on Amazon, Nook, Kindle, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and of course Morgan & Kaufman, the publisher's website. Get several for Christmas perhaps.